We think we're going to have the biggest crowd of the season tonight in a clash between two of the powerhouses in the Lincoln area. Southeast versus Lincoln East. Southeast, coached by Mazurski, has been rolling. They demolished Omaha Tech 53-0. Came back, scored 34 last week, I believe. Lincoln teams last week wins and no losses. Coming up on Closer Look, we're going to be talking with the preparator from the Lincoln Star, Chuck Sinclair, when we come back after this word from our sponsors here on TV9.
Come to McDonald's and play the $1 Million Diamond Hunt. Win up to thousands of dollars in cash or diamonds, or one of 10 million free food prizes like an icy cold Coca-Cola.
Match the free game piece on your game card like this. Like this? Oh, I won $100. We won. I won $25,000.
Cablevision TV9 Sports presents High School Football 79. Tonight, the Southeast Knights and the East High Spartans. This Cablevision Sports exclusive is brought to you by First National Lincoln, Moorhoff Power Equipment, Dairy Queen, Hodgman's Plain Roberts Mortuary, Walker Tire Company, Town and Country Realty, Kev Harding Sports Shops, Team Electronics, and McDonald's.
Welcome to Seacrest Field, live and in color. Cablevision presents its live coverage of high school football tonight. An intercity head knocker, Lincoln East and Lincoln Southeast. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to start off the evening, let's join the combined Lincoln Southeast and East bands for our national anthem. Excellent job of both bands in our national anthem. And a little color point here. I don't think you can see them in either one in our camera shot on the field right now, but up in the upper left-hand corner of your camera, or of the view you have right now, you see some blue and white balloons in the upper left-hand corner in a spontaneous spirit movement. There you see them. The East High and Southeast pep clubs who started stringing together balloons. There are well over 40 in the East High collection right now. And Southeast across the way must be coming about that close across the field, don't you think, Joe?
One of the pregame activities. There's a lot of spirit. The roads were packed coming into Seacrest Field. A lot of enthusiasm for high school football. You see the Southeast Pep Squad on the far left of your screen as the East High Band marches off the field. This should be a good one, Rick. We look for a high-scoring affair. What do you think about that?
I would think so. We're going to have certainly two of the most explosive offensive ground games and air games we will see all season long. One of the things that I always enjoy, I guess, about high school football that you seem to lose when you get more into the pro ranks, I guess, but the high school and college games always seem to have a little more personal satisfaction at stake. There's a little more of that really just wanting to do a good job for the school atmosphere, and that tends to bring open just some really spirited play, some gutsy calls, some risk taking that you don't seem to see when you get into the pro ranks. I guess that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't trade a Friday night out here for a Sunday afternoon in front of the tube for anything. Both sides have just super representation of fans here tonight. It was predicted to be a stadium filler for both sides, and so they've asked the folks to be sure to sit on the appropriate side of the field because there'd be so many partisans wanting to get in here tonight to see the game. And certainly it should. Everything that has been written about this game should come true as far as the prophecy of what an excellent head knocker it should be.
This is the kind of game you'd expect to see later on in the year towards the end. Here the season's just in its third week, and already we've got a game like this, a top-notch affair between two of Lincoln's finest.
Why don't we start out with the opening offensive lineups for both teams. First of all, for East High tonight, number 42 at the starting split end position, Scott Schottger, has been injured, I understand, from an article in the paper today. His backup is number 82, Kevin Hubble, 145-pound junior, and Hubble should start tonight for the Lincoln East Spartans. At left tackle, number 75 for the Spartans is Mark Omtvedt, a 197-pound senior. The left guard is number 61, Andy Prevost, 185-pound senior. The center is number 54, Dan Weed, 175-pound senior. The right guard, number 65, Todd Kelly, 175 pounds and a senior. Pretty common statistic in that offensive group. Number 77, the right tackle, as the East High Spartans come out on the field, Dennis Plunkett, 200-pound senior. The tight end, number 88, a familiar name to Lincoln High School fans. Number 88 is Bob Gustafson, a 210-pound senior. In the backfield, offensive backfield, the left halfback is number 33 for East High, Kevin Cole. Had an excellent year last year and is starting out that way again this year. He's only a junior at 155 pounds. The right halfback is number 44, Mike McCashland, 180 pounds and a senior. The flanker back is number 80, Rich Teal, 160-pound senior. And the quarterback, the man who runs the entire thing for East High, number 15, Todd Zart, 165-pound senior.
Okay, Rick, running down the offensive lineup for Lincoln Southeast. At quarterback, we've talked about him before. Craig Sundberg, returning All-Stater for the Knights of Southeast on the year, 6 out of 15. He hasn't thrown that much for 120 yards, 1 touchdown pass. In the backfield at fullback will be Tony Riley. Tony Riley, number 40. Fullback, 185, a senior. At the other halfback will be number 23, Kelly Peterson, a 160-pound senior. Peterson's gone for 66 yards thus far on 12 carries. Riley has accumulated 49 yards. At center will be Jack Perry, number 51. The guards are Wirtz and Mark Topol. At left tackle is Bill Lorberg. Lorberg, number 76, a 200-pound senior. At right tackle is number 73, Bruce Hungate, a 220-pound senior. At right end is Bill Weber. Billy Weber, number 32. Remember him from basketball. Great games in the Sports Center. Billy Weber, a 200-pound senior. At left end will be Keith Peterson, number 80, a 160-pound senior. And at the slot back will be Hager, a familiar name at Southeast. This one's Mike Hager, 160-pound junior. And that's a starting lineup offensively for the Knights of Southeast.
Anytime you talk about the Southeast team, we'll have to be sure and give both names when we talk about the Petersons, because they are brothers, Keith and Kelly. Played very well for the Knights last year and back again in force this year for them. Todd Zart, the East High starting quarterback. Now let's check that. That's number 10 for East High, Jeff Hendricks, who backs up in there at quarterback. Zart is number 15.
On the year, Zart 29 out of 46. Rushing, that is, through the airwaves. He's 18 out of 33. He's completed 55% of his passes, Rick. He's averaging 16 yards of completion. Zart is 292 yards. There you see him, a man being touted as All-State this year, Todd Zart. He's thrown for 1 touchdown pass. As a team, they've got 2. One of them came from Peterson.
East High won the toss before the start of tonight's game, elected to receive and to defend the south goal. Southeast will kick off and defend the north goal to start things off tonight. East High coached by, as always, Lee Zenick, assisted by Lynn Young, Bob Eith, John Henry, Jim Neal, Bill Ketchley. Southeast head coach Chuck Mazurski, assisted by Randy Brohlhorst, Denny Pells, Wally McNaught, John Larson, and Jack Gould.
Mazurski came from Plattsmouth last year. He's at the Class B level. This year he's moved up to Class A in one of the finest schools, Lincoln Southeast. There you see a little bit of the enthusiasm.
Right across the way from us, yeah, the Southeast band. Both bands here tonight, as you saw at the beginning of the game, and they are fired up, ready for tonight's action. And you could tell from the way the teams came out, they've been looking forward to this too. Lest you think there's no enthusiasm for high school ball, there are no less than 3 radio stations and, of course, our own coverage of the game tonight, as everybody in town wants to be into the action of high school football tonight, East and Southeast. We're glad you're with us on TV9 and Cablevision Sports Crew. So Southeast will kick off, and back deep to receive. 22, Jeff Harrelson. Number 80, Rich Teal. Number 33, Kevin Cole for the East High Spartans.
Weber ready to kick off for Southeast, and now with the play-by-play of tonight's ball game, here's Rick Ellaway.
Thank you, Joe. It's a good kick, but it's going to go off to the side. He picked up by Cole at the 30 or 20-yard line. Does a little scooting around before he's upended about the 28. So East High will take over for the first time tonight at their own 28-yard line. The offensive backfield, Cole at halfback, McCashel at right halfback, Teal the flanker. Quarterback is Todd Zart, number 15. Keep your eye on Zart. They'll split Cole wide to the left. First and 10 from the 28-yard line. Zart at quarterback. On first down, the handoff of the middle. And the Southeast, middle of that Southeast defensive line, as tough as they have been, as long as we've known high school football, it seems. Jack Perry, number 51, and they're both arms up in the air saying, we're going to be tough tonight. And indeed, they start out that way. Second down and 10. No gain on the first down.
Just a portion of the crowd that's in attendance this evening at Seacrest Field. Keep your eye on Zart. He's carried the ball more times than any of his running backs, sometimes out of necessity, no doubt, from the drop-back passing situation. Let's see if he puts it in the air this time.
Fumble on the exchange. East High is on it. Southeast says they've got it, but the officials say differently.
Man, you mentioned, Rick, 51 Jack Perry, a 185-pound senior, was right there. If that ball had squirted loose or taken a funny bounce, Perry would have been in possession of it.
Number 71 for the Knights comes out of the ball game, Bob Pazderka. Scott Schottger is starting tonight, Joe, so his injury to his ankle in practice must have healed sufficiently.
They hoped he would see some action. Here's Zart to the air.
Third down and 10. Here comes the arm we've talked about. Overthrown, and dangerously so, as Southeast had that pretty well defensed.
Trying to go to Bob Gustafson, a 210-pound tight end. 52nd Brigade's in attendance this evening.
See if we can get some of them for halftime. Better than looking at you. Fourth down and 12.
Oh, come on.
Just a little bit. So East High will have to punt that ball away from there. And as they'll face that 4th and 12, it'll be Doug Laird, number 90, doing the punting. Pretty good kick away. That will bounce and be picked up by number 80 for Southeast. Keith Peterson. Peterson has some good yardage across midfield and down to the 46-yard line of Lincoln East, the 41-yard line, rather.
36-yard punt for the East High Spartan, but a good return by Peterson. Weaved his way through traffic in the middle of the field between the hash marks, and he gives his teammates good field position. The opening possession, they're in East High territory. Just past the 41-yard line, Craig Sundberg and his troops come up to the line of scrimmage.
Virtually no wind tonight as Sundberg takes his troops to the line on first down. The handoff through the middle of the line to Peterson. Peterson still on his feet. And is bounced down short of the first down, but only by a couple of yards inside the 35-yard line to about the 34. Take that number 20 for the Knights. Number 20 for the Knights is Topol, Doug Topol. And while they gave Peterson a breather in that first exchange. Plunging ahead. Trying desperately for that first down yardage. Number 23 for Southeast, Kelly Peterson. Be third down and about 1.5 yards or 2 yards. Call it a long one for the 1st and 10 for the Knights. Ball placed at about the 32-yard line. You need to move it just to about to the 31 in order to have it there. Clock running with 9:10 to go in the first quarter, and Sundberg has a big hole. Jack Perry in there at center to open up a huge hole for Sundberg, who got across the 30-yard line, and they'll have a 1st and 10 at about the 29-yard line, and Southeast is knocking right away.
Quarterback sneak, you just go off the center's block, whichever way he takes his man. Craig Sundberg on the year, the leading rusher for the Knights. 22 carries for 79 yards coming into this game. That's a 3.6 average per rush, 1 touchdown rushing.
1st and 10. Mike Hager split wide to the right, and they go to the left. A good block tried to set up out there by Tony Riley. And it took a little bit longer than Sundberg wanted to get that block set up. He had to move to the outside, gets pushed out of bounds at about the 24-yard line.
Riley put the block on Eubanks, the field goal kicker for Lincoln East, among other duties. Kurt Eubanks, a 155-pound senior. Eubanks couldn't get to Sundberg quick enough.
Gain of 4 on that, 2nd down and 6.
Chuck Mazurski looking on.
Again, Hager split wide to the right. The handoff to Riley, or I should say to Topol again, and he has met hard at the line for little of any gain.
Bob Gustafson shot through, seemingly untouched past the line of scrimmage and made the initial contact on Sundberg. This will bring up 3rd down and 6, Rick. Interesting play calling situation.
3rd down and 6 for the Knights. On the far side, Hager split to the left. Riley and Topol in the backfield. Sundberg gives it off straight up the middle to Topol. Topol will be short of the 1st down.
Interesting formation for Southeast as you look at Todd Zart preparing to come back in action when the East gets the ball. That time Southeast lined up with no split end, Rick. Everybody was right on the line of scrimmage, close up, as in a short yardage situation. Now they do have a 4th and 5.
Gain of only 1 on that, 4th down and 5. Southeast will go for it on 4th down. From the looks of things, they'll put Hager out to the right side. 4th and 5. Watch out. They got to set up across the middle, but a super tackle is applied. Super tackle by number 70 for East High. Tom Hatton was right there anticipating the pass formation across the middle and shut Southeast off with no gain on 4th down. East High takes it over.
They had the screen pass set up. The lineman let the men come through, but then the man was right there to nail him. They had Hager on the near side working it down and across, but Sundberg elected to go to his screen pass man. East High takes over.
Tough decision on 4th down, what to do down there that close. Southeast tried for it, lost, and so East High picks it up. This is Zart rolling around the right side, scrambling ahead for about 5 or 6 yards.
Zart's a good runner, Rick. 29 carries for 46 yards coming into this game. He's only averaging a little less than 2 yards a carry, but he's not afraid to tuck it away and go upfield with it. That adds quite a different dimension to anybody's offense.
Let's remember in the battle in the trenches, too, the Southeast outweighs East almost man for man in there on the line. And East High's offensive line doing a good job there. Zart wants to pass. Absolutely wide open is Rich Teal coming off the left side, and East High has a 1st down at about the 42-yard line. Super play.
Teal, the 2nd leading receiver for East High, 5 catches for 87 yards coming into tonight's game. 17 yards a catch. All the East High receivers averaging good yardage per catch.
6.5 minutes left to play in the 1st quarter. No score. East High moving with the ball at their own 42-yard line.
Teal caught a big pass against Grand Island, Rick.
And he's back in there again after that big catch right there. Tries to block for Zart, and they get the late pitch out. Boy, that was an absolute late one, too. There wasn't much more time left to get that ball off. But the pitch is complete to Mike McCashland, and McCashland got about 2 or 3 more yards out of it.
Randy Wirtz, a linebacker, one of the most surprised guys on the field. He had Zart wrapped up, all but sealed, and then he got rid of the ball.
Good offensive, just heads up on Zart's part. Keep his composure there. Hand off in the middle of the line to McCashland. It'll be a gain of a couple. They should be about a yard away from their 1st down. Let's call it 3rd down and 1. 5:39 left in the 1st quarter from Seacrest. Live and in color, the Cablevision TV9 Sports crew with you on another fall Friday evening. Glad to have you with us tonight. Rich Teal split wide to the right. Schottger split to the left. They want to roll the right, looking for Teal again. He has it, complete. Perfect slant in. And some good running after he got a hold of the ball. Teal picks up the 1st down plus about 7 more.
160-pound senior Rich Teal, as you mentioned, made a good move, a spinning move to get away from the initial defender. Picked up 5 or 6 more yards, and Lincoln East is going to the air against the Knights defense.
So it looked like Southeast was moving, only to stall on 4th down, and East is taking it right back to him at the 39-yard line, 1st and 10. Zart with the ball as quarterback, taking his time. And the handoff to McCashlin. McCashlin doing some good stepping around in there. Gets a gain of about 4 to about the 35-yard line. Should bring up a 2nd down and 6.
McCashlin, the leading runner besides the quarterback Zart, 19 carries, 56 yards, right at 3 yards a carry for East High. Scored 2 touchdowns on the ground this year.
Give him 5. 2nd down and 5 for the Spartans. Virtually no wind here tonight, but the balloons are staying up, drifting a little bit off to the south when they get up in the air, but down the field the wind is not much of a factor. 2nd and 5. Zart barks him out. Runs the option to the left, cuts back in over left guard and gets about 2 more yards. Down to about the 33-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd and about 3 or 4.
Misdirection play. Zart faked a handoff to his right, then went to the left, trying to confuse the defense. He had Kevin Cole, the running back, out there, but he decided to not go with it.
So it brings up 3rd and 4. And they want to pass again, and it's right into the hands of Doug Barlow. Barlow is going to pick up some good yardage back out to the 40-yard line before he is brought down. And that one, they had Teal coming out of the backfield again. It looked like he just stumbled and lost a couple of yards and could not get back to the ball. Finally fell down, and the ball was thrown right into the hands of Doug Barlow.
Wasn't really Zart's fault that time.
Not at all. His pass was keyed to where the receiver should have been. Just plain couldn't get there. So Southeast on the turnover takes it over at their own 39, 1st and 10 with 3.5 minutes left in the first period. They'll split Mike Hager wide to the right. Riley and Topol in the backfield. The handoff is to Riley, and he has only a couple out to about the 40-yard line.
The experts can't agree, Rick, on where Southeast should be in the ratings. They're number 3 in the Lincoln paper, number 4 in the AP poll, number 5 in the Omaha paper. So they're out trying to prove something tonight. Of course, a new regime, Charles Mazurski taking over.
Having a couple of very successful first games, but again, as we mentioned in our pregame program, not probably being tested seriously until tonight with this East High squad. A gain of only 1 against a tough East High defensive line. 2nd down and 9. They want to pass. Looking across the way, it's complete. Complete to Hager on the near sideline at the 45, 46-yard line of East. 1st down for the Knights.
Sundberg to Hager. We'll see that combination throughout the entirety of this evening. Hager goes down 8 yards, does a down and out. The cornerback playing off of him about 4 to 5 yards. Has very little chance of deflecting the pass or getting there. All he can do is make the tackle. And Hager to Sundberg, you can tell where practice comes in. They know exactly where they're going to be.
Sundberg had to dump that ball off in a hurry, too. He's feeling some defensive pressure from the right side of the East High line. Roll to the left this time. Diving catch, no good. Incomplete at about the 35-yard line. Pass intended out there for Peterson. And they say he trapped the ball, so it brings up a 2nd and 10. They'll bring the ball back to the 47-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 10 from there with 2:46 left in the first quarter. We are scoreless if you've just joined us. A beautiful night for football and a virtual capacity crowd here at Seacrest Field to take it in. 2nd and 10. Sundberg to Peterson. No, the late pitch out to Riley is all alone. Riley scooped that ball off, and is he taking off downfield down to about the 20-yard line. The only man who had a shot at him was Jeff Harrelson on the right side, and Riley just kind of stiff-armed him and got around him. Beautiful pitch. They had me faked into the line, and all of a sudden the ball was pitched out to Tony Riley. The play was created by the deceptiveness of Craig Sundberg as he slid down the line. When the defender committed himself, he released the ball to the trailing halfback, and you saw him down the far sideline, and the Knights have got it going, Rick. 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Sundberg. Handoff to Topol, number 20. He'll cross the 20 to about the 19-yard line, and that's all. Neither team has been able to do much directly up the middle of the line of scrimmage. Charles Mazurski wondering what his Knights are going to have to do to get in the end zone, that is. Topol left, and Kelly Peterson is in at halfback. They'll shuffle those two gentlemen in throughout the evening with the plays. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9. Clock running down to 2:10 in the first quarter. The Knights are on the move.
Fumble on the play.
Looks as though Southeast has recovered it. May have actually even picked up a yard on it. We'll have to see where they place it. No, they'll say it'll be for no gain, so they'll have a 3rd and 9 looking at them now.
Little trouble on the handoff between Sundberg. As you look at Chuck Mazurski once again, the new head coach of Lincoln Southeast. Sundberg and Jack Perry having a little trouble on the handoff. 3rd and 9.
So on 3rd and 9, look across the line for a completion. And that pass should be in first down territory by about a yard. Complete to Peterson coming across from the left side there. Looks like they may want to measure this one.
Peterson, or I believe Bill Weber, maybe.
Billy Weber, you got it right.
Billy Weber. There's your man in armor tonight. He's expecting a drop in the temperature.
Hope it doesn't rain. Measuring for the first down there.
They've got it by half a length of the football.
Tough to tell from up here because of our angle, but it looked like they had it by more than that. The officials measure it in and say it's by the half a length. 1st and 10 for the Southeast Knights at about the 10-yard line of Lincoln East. Sundberg. Looks like a little mix-up in the line there as Peterson goes over the left side. No flags thrown. There's a little foot shuffling there in the Southeast offensive line, but no flags go up as Peterson heads over left tackle for about 5 yards.
Good blocking on the left side of the line by the Southeast Knights. Azurka, Hungate and Wirtz on the right side, and then Lowerberg and Topol on the left side. Southeast moving it. And now East High is going to take a timeout with 54 seconds in the first quarter.
2nd down and 4, and Southeast, it's possible for Southeast to get a first down without scoring, which is always nice. Envious position to be in. They'll have a first down with about the length of the football left to get to the goal line. So with 2nd down and 4 and 2nd down and 4.5 for a touchdown. As East called the timeout to try and regroup a little bit here.
There you see the returning All-State quarterback Craig Sundberg. Not a bad basketball player either.
No, he's not.
Sundberg, good build for a quarterback. Kind of looks a little like Terry Bradshaw from this angle.
We had a Bradshaw in last week's game.
That's right.
Last week's Nebraska game. The backup quarterback for Utah State didn't quite have the same arm that Terry has, but he did have the same last name. 2nd down and 4 for the Knights. Anthony Riley and Topol in there in the backfield. The handoff is to Topol, and he is corralled for a loss. Back to about the 7 or 8 yard line.
Nice play by Doug Laird. 185-pound seniors in this goal line defense for Lincoln East. They're trying to stack it up. Southeast may have to go wide to get it in. Sundberg waiting for the man to come in with the play from the bench.
Loss of only 1, Joe. 3rd down and 5. Clock continues to run now. 30 seconds left.
Let's see if we see the option play, Rick. They've got Hager split out on the near side.
They're down. Here it is. Sundberg will go in unmolested as the block was totally missed from East High by number 50, Jeff Lade, who had a hand on Sundberg, and Sundberg just left him off and went on into the end zone. And East High was playing for the pitch, and once Sundberg got past the initial tackle, it was home free.
There the balloons go up, the yellow balloons for the Lincoln Southeast Knights. I tell you, on the way here tonight, Rick, I had a car in front of me with Southeast cheerleaders, a car behind me, and the horns never stopped honking. That made them go crazy. Sundberg's going to be holding.
Sundberg will hold, number 84 for the Knights. Craig Westfall will attempt the point after touchdown. It is good. And so, with 18 seconds left to play in the first quarter, Southeast leads the East High Spartans 7-0. And I'm sure, even though Chuck Mazurski must feel a little bit of relief at this point, you can't feel too much in a game like this where you're still in the first quarter with an explosive offense like East High is.
Southeast 9 out of 13 on extra point conversions. Westfall gets point number 10 in the books personally. Westfall 9 extra point conversions, the 4th leading scorer for Southeast. They're led by Riley with 4 touchdowns. 24 points. There you see Bill Weber teeing it up.
Weber will kick it off to the East High Spartans. Kevin Cole Number 80, Rich Teal. Number 22, Jeff Harrelson back there. Whoever gets his foot into it, long end over ender, straight down the middle, picked up by Harrelson at the 25, 30, or the 20, yeah, the 30, back out to the 30-yard line. Get my stripes mixed up there. So East High will take it over at about the 30-yard line. 13 seconds left to play in the first quarter of action. Seacrest.
Points scored by Lincoln Southeast are the first point scored against Lincoln East in the first half of a ball game this year. They've outscored their opponents 13-0 in the first quarter, 7-0 in the second quarter. In fact, coming into this game, Southeast or East, neither team had been scored upon in the first half, Rick.
And that's the end of this first quarter of play from Seacrest Field. And so at the end of one, Joe, our score, Southeast 7, East High 0, and we've got 3 more quarters of quality football left. Hope to stay with us all through the night, right here on Cablevision TV 9. We are back at Seacrest Field on first down from the 30-yard line. Kevin Cole picks up a couple. It'll be second down and 8. There you see Todd Zart, the outstanding young quarterback for the Lincoln East High Spartans, barking out the signals. Wants to roll around the right side. A late pitch. Oh, and a beautiful defensive play by Kelly Peterson. And a fumble. The officials are going to say it still belongs to East. Peterson, having just scored the touchdown, wants to make sure nobody else gets a shot at it. And stops what looked like a perfect Zart pitch out there for actually a loss of a yard.
Recapping some first quarter statistics. First down, Southeast 4, East High 2. Rushes, Southeast 12 for 54 yards, East 6 for 21 yards. Passing 3 out of 4 for Southeast. We'll get back to that after this play.
Handoff to Cole, hoping Southeast would anticipate that option to the left end, and Cole comes up way short of the first down by about 4 yards. It should bring up a fourth down and about 4, a long 4.
Passing yards, Southeast 3 out of 4 for 23 yards. East High 2 out of 4 for 23 yards. 1 interception for Todd Zart.
So East High will have to punt that ball away. Not something that they want to have to do a lot tonight. Doug Laird will do the kicking. Barlow, Topol, Riley back to receive. That's 98 doing the kicking, I should say.
Nice punt.
Oh, a beautiful punt that's going to roll down and die short of the now let's see if they rolled it in.
Oh.
Now they're going to wait and see. According to the official is saying that they rolled into the end zone with the ball, and so it'll go out, come back to the 20-yard line. We'll wait and see here.
The ball had died on about the 2-yard line, but the players in their anxiety to get down there all jumped on it and they rolled into the end zone. You can't do that because once a body goes in the end zone, it's just like taking the ball with it.
Well, that's a heartbreak. If that ball, if they just let it roll dead, it would have stopped short of the end zone, I'm pretty sure. And as is, the ball comes back out to the 20. We'll see if that charges the East defense up.
65-yard punt, nevertheless, for the East High punter.
So, Southeast will take over first and 10 at the 20-yard line. Sundberg with the ball on the option right, keeps it himself. Has about 4 yards out to the 25, just kind of picks and chooses his way through the line.
Nice play by the linebacker for Lincoln East, Rick Taylor, number 60.
So the Southeast chain of balloons across the field is launched somewhere into the stratosphere, and the East High list, or length of balloons, continues to grow in front of us, waiting for their first score. Second down and 5. We're early in the second quarter. Southeast leads 7-0 if you've just joined us tonight. Glad to have you with us on TV 9. Handoff to Riley. Riley bowls his way across the 25-yard line before he's stopped. Pickup of about 1, perhaps. We'll see if where they'll measure it. It should bring up a third down and about 4 for the Knights. They'll shift Topol back into the ball game. Doug Topol alternating with Kelly Peterson in there at halfback. Third down and 3 for the Knights of Southeast. About their own 26, 27-yard line. The pitch and a good defensive effort. Good defensive effort in there.
McCashlin, also number 45, Eubanks. Eubanks made the initial hit. Couldn't stop the runner by himself, but he did slow him down, make him change his course. And it looks like Southeast going to have to give up the ball on 4th down and 3.
No gain on 3rd down, so the Knights will have to punt that ball away. So we'll have an exchange of punts here to start out this quarter. Now a timeout being called by Southeast.
I think Southeast missing a player on the field. Number 66 supposed to be in on the punt team. Now he's coming out. That, of course, is Randy Wirtz, guard linebacker, 165-pound senior.
That will no doubt anger slightly Coach Mazurski to have to waste a timeout on something on that nature.
Time will tell later on in this half whether it becomes important.
So with 4th down and 3, Southeast has had to take timeout to regroup in the line.
Truly different having 2 Lincoln teams play, Rick. First couple weeks of television coverage, we've had a team from outstate Nebraska, and half the field, half the stands have been empty, but they're filling up tonight, both sides.
You saw Rich Teal back there to receive for East High. A high sailing kick that Teal will field and will get away and get a good return out of it, as he'll run back to about the 45-yard line. A couple of Southeast defensive men ran into each other in their attempt to get down there quickly. Number 30, Kevin Hayes, or number 30, I should say, Mike Fink, and 32, Bill Weber.
33-yard punt, 7-yard return.
1st and 10 for the East High Spartans, moving it upfield by way of a punt exchange to about the 47-yard line, where they'll take it over 1st and 10 from there with 8:17 left in the first half. Number 80 is split to the right. This is Kevin Cole. Has some good running, and it takes a good ankle tackle out there on the part of number 33 for Southeast,
John White.
So 33 stops 33, but not without a gain of about 8 yards or 7 yards. The officials will mark it. Call it 2nd down and 3.
Good move by Cole. He's carried the ball 17 times for 36 yards, 2 yards a carry average, 2 touchdowns on the ground.
Cole and McCashlin in the backfield. A handoff again to Cole. Nope.
Zart kept it that
Quarterback
time.
keeper. Get my field glasses on up here. A lot of some shifty handing off going on down there.
How'd you like to be playing defense?
No thanks. If I was playing defense, I'd be over on the sideline massaging some wounds already, I'm afraid.
Our statistician's ready to don his helmet. Remember his high school days.
Only padding I've got's around the midsection. That doesn't quite do it for you. 3rd down and 4. 7:16 left to play. 3rd and 4. East High wanting to convert on this one. Trying to make East High or Southeast jump off, and they did it.
Nose guard number 33, John White, a 200-pound junior, was a little bit anxious that time, and he made contact with the center for East High School.
That's a frustrating way to give them a 1st down, because they only needed 4 and Southeast gave them 5.
Calling the signals on defense for Southeast is number 66, Randy Wirtz. Southeast has a fine defense on the year. Lincoln Southeast has given up an average of 3 points a game, 6 points total.
So with that penalty, it gives them a 1st down. 1st and 10. Here comes the handoff. Oh my. Number 71 for Southeast, Bob Pazdurka, came shooting through there and dropped Mr. McCashlin for no gain.
Pazdurka ties for the heaviest man on the Southeast roster. Tips the scales at 230 pounds. As does Mike Schaaf.
Must have lifted pianos over the summer to get that up there. 2nd down and 10. Again, Teal split wide to the right. They want to pass. A little lame duck thrown up there, but picked off by Bob Gustafson as Zart was hit right as he threw that ball. Gustafson picks up about 8 yards, though. It should be 3rd down and about 2.
It won't go down in the books as the prettiest pass Todd Zart's ever thrown, but it got the job done, and that's all that counts.
3rd and 1, a gain of 9 on that.
3rd and 1, 3rd and a long one.
6:15 in the half. East High moving. They're inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line. Zart calls his own number and should have the 1st down. On the quarterback keeper over the center for Lincoln East. And they should have it handily as Weed kind of pushed everybody out of the way there. They will measure it, though. So I guess they don't have it that handily. Underneath 6 minutes now at 5:55 left to play in half number 1 from Seacrest Field. A beautiful night for football.
Short.
Boy, it is. Well, 4th down and a silly millimeter. So they'll have to push that one through at 4th down and 1. I'm sure East High will go for it. Imagine they might see if they can have some sort of a 4th and short. I don't take that personally. We'll see if they can push it ahead through the middle of the line here. And they should have the first down now as they cross the 30-yard line. So with 5:55 left to play in this first half, East High has themselves a first down. See if our graphics person has first down up here for us.
East High continuing to keep this drive alive.
There it
Let's
is.
see if Zart goes to the air now, Rick. He's got a first down and 10. We might look for something wide.
East High, and you call it. Here comes the pass. It's long enough. And it's picked off. Touchdown. You didn't have your headset down there in the huddle on that one, did you?
Number 42, Scott Schopker. They said he was injured.
That might have been a ploy because Schopker he doesn't look injured to me. He's running with full strength.
They said he stepped in a hole during practice before the Hastings game. I tell you, he was picking him up and putting him down on his pattern, working one-on-one against the right cornerback for Lincoln Southeast. He caught the ball, out-jumped the defender for the ball, caught it just in the corner of the end zone, came down, fell in the end zone, and the Spartans of East are on the board, and the blue balloons go skyward.
As we told you, you can't be satisfied here with a 7-point lead because East High can come back and tie it up, and they have done so. An excellent individual effort from Schopker to be in the right place at the right time and just to pick that ball off, as you called it, at about the half-inch line and get into the end zone for the score.
Kick by Eubanks is his 4th conversion. East High is 5 out of 6 now on conversion kicks. 0 for 1 passing it, and 0 for 2 running it on the 2-point tries. But nevertheless, we've got everything we expected and more, Rick. This second half's going to be great.
East High defensive coordinator Lynn Young wants to talk things over with the East High kicking unit. So they have conversed, now are setting up. And we'll see what will happen down here now as they will kick it off to Southeast with Barlow, Peterson, Riley, all back.
Good shot of the kicker.
Looks as though Barlow will field this one. At the 20, gets away from some folks. A good outside move, crosses the 30 to the 35-yard line. And just kind of stopped and took off to the left, and that surprised them all.
Little hesitation move, let the pursuit go one way. He decided to go the other. He got to the outside. And now the Knights come back, finding themselves tied up at 7-all. First point scored against their defense in the first half all year long.
7-all. 5.5 minutes left before we break for intermission. First down for Southeast at the 35-yard line. Craig Sundberg with Tony Riley and Greg Topol in the backfield. The handoff to Topol, and he'll go absolutely nowhere as the East High defense is charged up after that touchdown. They'll call it a loss of almost 2 yards.
There you see the spirit among the defensive people for Lincoln East. It's amazing how one touchdown on the boards can get you fired up. Southeast has its work cut out for it now, but let's see what Craig Sundberg and company is up to the task. They've got plenty of time to do it if they get a few first downs.
2nd and 12, 5 minutes left to play. Spot the ball at the 34-yard line. Sundberg at quarterback. Wants to pass. Has plenty of time. Looks across the way to Hager, rather. It's complete for first down. First down yardage close to the 50-yard line at about the 48. 1st and 10 for the Knights.
Just got it past the outstretched hands of Troy Armagost into the hands of his own man, Hager, and Hager's been running some fine patterns. He's going one-on-one against the defender, and the defender has to give him some room to make his moves, and he's doing a straight down and out towards the sidelines and getting open.
So on that pass, the 1st and 10 completion moves the ball out near midfield at about the 48. 1st and 10 for the Knights.
4 out of 5 for 37 yards for Sundberg thus far.
Sundberg wants to set it up, looking long. He's going to overthrow, could be intercepted. Pass a little too strong, and number 45 for Lincoln East, Kurt Eubanks, dangerously close to picking that one off. Southeast hopefuls held their breath for a minute. 4:45 left now in this first half. All tied up, 7-all. We predicted a close game, and you can't get much closer than tie. 2nd down and 10. Ball comes back to the 48, 49-yard line. Hager will be split to the right. Sundberg, barking him out.
Fumble.
Hands the ball inside, and looks as though East High may have come up with it. They have. East High recovers the fumble on the exchange. And they'll have a first down inside Southeast territory at the 49-yard line.
Coming up with the ball was number 78, Gary Bohati, a 213-pound junior. He's happy on the sidelines, as is Coach Lee Zinnig. A turnover in the middle of the field, almost 48-yard line. Todd Zart's got 4 minutes and 30 seconds to do something with it.
And East High wants another score on that scoreboard. Going ahead quickly. Zart rolls to the right. Play. A good tackle on the near side by Peterson to upend McCashland. But not before they pick up about a yard. Second down and 9. Clock continues to run at 4 minutes, 10 seconds left to play in the half. Peterson's block kept that one from going a long way because they had that play set up absolutely perfectly. Zart runs that option so well. Schottger to the near side. And a good saving. Oh, another fumble. Let's see who's on it. Southeast should have this one back. And they do. So,
pitch by Zart.
Everybody's playing dropsy out there, and Southeast comes up with this one. We may have an East High injury. Maybe just a moment to think it over as McCashland's back up now. He's okay. Just had to think about things for a minute. So quickly the ball changes hands again, and now Southeast comes up with it back at the 49-yard line again. Virtually no exchange. Matter of fact, they may have gained a yard on that exchange. 3:43 left. The Knights have it first and 10. Moving right to left. Sundberg wants to pass. They have to get rid of it in a hurry. Complete.
He can't go any further. His knee was on the ground, but it was a fine catch.
For first down.
Looked like he had camped out there while they were in the huddle.
Taking time to say a few moments of meditation at the 40-yard line. And the first and 10 picked up.
Good pass by Sundberg, being pressured by John Irwin. Got it away. Southeast, the Knights are on the roll.
3.5 minutes to play in this first half of ball. Southeast at the 40-yard line. They don't want to waste any time with it, but Sundberg's going to wind up eating it.
May rule it a fumble, Rick, and I think East High's got it.
We'll wait and see. Indeed they do. Another turnover. Boy, this is nuts.
Kurt Griffin, a 180-pound junior, comes up with it. Well, let's check that. Number 88, rather. Bob Gustafson, I believe, came up with it. He's going to go back in and play offense now.
Sundberg's very unhappy with that ruling. I suppose a lot of that has to be just personal frustration at this point. So now the ball turns back over again, and East High gets it back. 3 minutes and 11 seconds. 3 separate series and 3 fumbles within about 20 seconds. Zart wants to pass now, going to have to roll. And now he'll wind up scrambling for about 5 yards, but it's eating time up now. It's underneath 3 minutes down to 2:55.
Zart had Rich Teal going down the near sideline. He thought about going to him initially, but he was covered when he looked at him. When he looked at him again, he was already past the line of scrimmage. Zart was, that is. So he had to eat the ball, and he got 5-yard gain out of it. Brings up 2nd and 5.
Defensive starter Randy Wirtz out of there for the Knights. Hobbling off on an ankle. Zart wants to pass. A bullet of a pass away. It's complete at the 41-yard line. Complete down there to number 80, Rich Teal. Teal's been open most of the night. First down for the East High Spartans with 2:26 left to play.
Southeast very aware of the fact that Schottger's on the other side, so Teal's working on this side. Now Teal's going to the far side, and coming to this side will be the man I referred to, Schottger. Keep your eye on him.
Schottger covered out there by Keith Peterson. His brother Kelly Peterson will be on Teal across the field. We got 2 men on that side. The pass is up. Oh, just deflected out of the hands across the way, almost perhaps deliberately, by number 80, Teal. Stops the clock with 2 minutes and 18 seconds and a 2nd down and 10 situation for the East High Spartans.
Zart 5 out of 8 for 74 yards and 1 interception thus far through the air.
Schottger comes out of the ball game for the Spartans.
Hold on to your hats. This one's going down to the wire.
Teal and 82, Kevin Hubble in there. Looking to the left, looking for complete to number 80 again, Teal. tried to put a little juke on number 53 for Southeast, Brett Albee. Albee grabbed him, wrestled him down, but Teal was wide open in the middle of the field.
Lost sight of the secondary man who was supposed to be covering him. He might have slipped down. We saw a man slip down earlier, an intended receiver on Zart's only interception, and I believe that might have happened that time to Southeast secondary. Nevertheless, we've got a timeout on the field. They charge it to Lincoln East High School. And we haven't seen Lee Zenik in the huddle yet, Rick.
Prefers to stay on the sideline, Jose. With about 2 minutes left, he'll be talking to his quarterback down on the near sideline.
Obviously, I'm thinking ahead to tomorrow night already when you get the night off. We're going to come back here in Northeast against Grand Island. Joining me will be a new man in the booth, Rich Clausen. He'll be stepping in up to the microphone, and we plan on having a good ball game with Bob L's Rockets.
Too bad we couldn't have had Rich here last week when they had the Northeast game on. He would have been or the North Platte game. Rich from North Platte could have given us quite a bit of in-depth color about that one. Now with 2 minutes and 7 seconds, a 1st and 10 for the East High Spartans.
Schottger's on the near side, Teal on the far side.
28-yard line.
Let's see if Zart might use one of his running backs too.
And Cole stumbles coming out of the backfield and getting a hand in there to help him stumble. Number 32, Bill Weber for the Knights, got in the way there and messed things up a little bit. So it brings up a 2nd down and 4, and the clock continues to run. 1:45 left to play in the first half. Now Zart wants to go to the air, looking for Teal. Teal's pretty well covered, and they'll drop Zart in the backfield.
Teal was covered. The Southeast secondary had a blanket on him. Double coverage on the far side. Teal did a down and out, and when Zart looked at him, Teal was all wrapped up.
Credit Mike Schaff, number 72, a 230-pound junior, for shooting through there. One of the, as you mentioned earlier, the 2 heaviest men on the Southeast team, but showed some pretty good speed that time to get in there and get a hand on Zart's ankle, got him tripped up. There you see Zart and Lee Zenik at midfield talking things over, or on the field, I should say, at about the 37-yard line.
Zart 6 out of 9 thus far for 87 yards. Coming into the game, he was 18 out of 33 for 292 yards and 1 touchdown.
So this brings up a 3rd down and 9 now, a crucial play. With 1 minute and 36 left. East High must pick up, if not the first down, about 8.5.
Looking at it from the Southeast point of view, Rick, you probably think they're going to one of the split ends. Teal or Schottger might look to see the tight end over the middle somehow. Still plenty of time left if he stays in bounds. Even if I don't believe they have a timeout left. They might have 1 timeout left. But we'll see what Zart comes up with. Lee Zenik undoubtedly calling the play.
Schottger is to the right. Teal is to the left. Cole and McCashel in the backfield, and a fumble on the ball.
Southeast has it.
Southeast has it.
8 yards up the field from the line of scrimmage.
That ball just kind of shot out of there. Nobody really had a hand on it. This has been a crazy end to this first half of ball. We've seen 4 fumbles in the last 3 minutes.
First quarter was a very well played first quarter. You think, with all the pregame publicity that is, there's so much of it I can't even say it. But anyway, with all of that, you think they might have been a little nervous. Well, the first quarter was very well played, and the second quarter was kind of sloppily played.
I think with the score getting tied up there suddenly, both teams wanted to get on the scoreboard once more before the half, and they started taking some risks they should not have taken. Southeast most likely will try just to end this half without turning the ball over again. They're deep in their own territory, crossing the 20-yard line, out to about the 23 on the handoff to Riley. 1:04, number 22 rather. 32 Peterson.
At least both teams, if we end up in a tie at halftime, both teams will keep their record intact of never having been behind at halftime.
Well, that's true. Let's call it a gain of 4. 2nd down and 6. About the 24-yard line. Peterson is wrapped up like a blanket.
Changed his direction in a hurry. The Lincoln East defense, led by number 60, Rick Taylor, and the rest of the interior of the East High line.
32 seconds. Southeast will probably get off 1 more play in this half. And the clock is stopped now. We seem to have an equipment problem down here for East High. Number 76.
John Irwin coming out. Shoulder pad problem on the sideline, on the near sideline. Irwin having his pads repaired. They're going to take his jersey off and work on the pads. So where student manager comes in. There you see Lee Zenik sending in number 55, Steve Miller.
keeping number 60 in there, and it's
an integral part of any high school football game. The cheerleaders, Rick.
Our cameramen are always bound to find a good shot of that sometime during the night.
The east side of the stadium. Fran Ebauer.
3rd down and 7. 11 seconds. Clock is running. 9 seconds. 8, 7, 6. Southeast will not even get another play off here. Wait a minute. We're going to have a delay of game now against Southeast. It took a little too long getting that play off. They'll have to run one more play at least. With 3 seconds left on the clock. He'll have a 3rd and 12 now when play resumes. So one more play, and that will wrap it up as the Southeast Knights and the East High Spartans will go into the locker room tied at half, 7-all. That's the end of the first half of play. Our score at the half, Lincoln Southeast 7, Lincoln East 7. Halftime coming up. Don't go away. Bye. Welcome back to Seacrest Field for the start of the second half of play in this intra-city matchup between the Lincoln East High Spartans and the Lincoln Southeast Knights. Our score tied up at 7 apiece here as East High came back in the second quarter with a couple of minutes left to tie it up on a beautifully executed pass from Todd Zart to Scott Schottker. Earlier in the first half, or in the first quarter with only 18 seconds left, Craig Sundberg, the quarterback on the keeper for a 5-yard gain for that first touchdown. Southeast Knights coming back on the field across the way, and you will see them entering your picture in the upper portion of your picture right there on the left-hand side. About a minute or so left in this halftime, and boy, I'll tell you, if the second half is as exciting as this first half, it's going to go down the wire.
I think we're going to see more passes in the second half. East High had most of their success through the air. The only interception, I believe, came on a play where the receiver slipped down. No fault of the receiver or Todd Zart, for that matter, the quarterback. For Southeast, Sundberg ran the option play very well. When they went wide against East, they seemed to have a little bit more success than going straight up the middle. A couple plays, it took them, I think, 2 yards to get two plays to get 2 yards on quarterback sneaks. East High is, of course, tough up the middle. So in this second half, I look for more passes. Schottker, Teal for East, and going to Hager for Southeast. Southeast maybe going a little wider, a little bit more often than we saw in the first half.
One combination we have not seen a whole lot as far as the passing lanes are concerned is the Sundberg to Bill Weber combination that people have been talking about, taunting quite a bit before the game tonight. So far, Craig Sundberg has elected most of the time to connect with Hager. And, of course, when you get a completion, you can't complain too much, but I think they were thinking a little bit perhaps about maybe just seeing a little more of a balanced offensive show there in the passing lanes. And it's worth note, of course, that with Teal's excellent performance tonight, that frees a little bit more of the pressure up that is always applied to Schottker because of the fact that you've got a double scoring or passing threat on both sides now. As the East High Spartans come out, you see them taking the field directly in front of our broadcast facility.
Show you the type of competition and the effectiveness of the Lincoln Southeast defense up to this ball game. Through 2 games, the Knights defense had only given up 10 yards through the air, Rick. That's a game average of 5 on a Friday night, 5 yards passing against the Southeast defense. Meanwhile, on the ground, they'd given up 158 yards on 60 attempts, only 1 touchdown. That's a little bit over 2.5 yards a carry and a per game average of only 79 yards. So you're talking about 84 total yards per game given up by the Southeast Knights defense. There you see Lincoln East, the Spartans coming out, trying to maintain their number 2 ranking in all the polls. Lincoln Southeast ranked 3 through 5. Both teams trying to overtake Creighton Prep.
An important note here, I think, is one that our colleague Chuck Sinclair, you were talking to in our pregame program, made in one of his articles this week, which is that a loss to either team this early in the season is not going to seriously affect their state tournament chances, their state playoff chances later on down the road, because this is only the 3rd week of competition, and it will run quite a ways into the fall here into November. So they don't have to be too concerned. Not that you're going to just write off a loss, but that doesn't have to ruin their chances for a possible playoff berth later on down the road.
It's a good thing, too, when you have 2 teams, the quality of these 2 teams, that you don't lose one of them at the playoff time.
One of the many policemen who I always thought they give up their time so willingly to come out here, and I think they actually just like watching the games. Heck, I would. I'd volunteer for this duty, come out here, do an excellent job with crowd control, which, of course, you get a game like this, it becomes even more so important. East High will be doing the kicking. Having received to start the game, they will kick off to start the second half. Doing the place kicking for Lincoln East, number 70, Tom Hatton. Back deep to receive for Southeast, Barlow, Riley, and Kelly Peterson. This is Barlow. Had good success running it back tonight, and he's up to the 30-yard line before he's dropped.
16-yard return.
So at the 30-yard line, the Southeast Knights will take it over 1st and 10 as we start out this second half of action, and it might just as well be the beginning of the game again with all tied up.
Let's run down the starting lineups as we have for Southeast. We begin the second half. Perry's the center, Topol and Wirtz at guards, Lorberg and Hungate at the tackles, Billy Weber's the tight end, or the right end rather, Keith Peterson on the left end, Hager the split end, the running backs, Riley and Peterson, Sundberg the quarterback.
Sundberg, quarterback, hands it off to Tony Riley. Greg Topol in there right now at the halfback position, but he'll come out on this play as they'll send Kelly Peterson into the lineup. Topol and Peterson will alternate throughout the evening, bringing in the plays from first-year coach Chuck Mazurski at Southeast. Both these teams 2-0 in the season at this point. Somebody's record is going to have to be a little spoiled after tonight's game is over. 2nd down and 10, no gain on that. 11:06 to play in the third quarter from Seacrest. Second half action just underway. If you've just joined us, 7-7. Sundberg rolls, late pitch, good block downfield. Riley just could not evade the grasp of number 22, Jeff Harrelson, who followed him around. They had a good block throw, and if Harrelson had been there, Riley would have picked up considerably more yardage.
The block was thrown by Bruce Hungate, a 220-pound senior. Hungate with an excellent block for Southeast, and it brings up 3rd down and 3.
3rd and short, 3rd and 3 for the Knights, as short as 3 yards ever is. 10:22 in the third quarter, remaining to be played in the third quarter, with this 3rd and 3 coming up. Sundberg keeps it himself, has the first down yardage and then some. Foot race with Harrelson, and he finally just evades Harrelson and runs out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
When the left end made his commitment to the inside, Sundberg took it to the outside, showing his speed. Got around the corner, moved it upfield, was ran out of bounds by Harrelson. Craig Sundberg, there you see just one of the reasons why he was All-State last year.
Boy, a big gainer for Sundberg. Harrelson could run Riley down on one play, but couldn't quite get the angle on Sundberg in the next play. Has to settle for pushing him out of bounds. 1st and 10 at the 39 or 41-yard line rather of East High. Through the middle of the line, Sundberg himself.
They still didn't get him down, but they got his forward progress stopped.
After a gain of about 2 or 3 yards.
Untangling the mass of human bodies. Lincoln East defense tough up the middle.
2nd down and 8. Number 60 for Lincoln East, Rick Taylor coming off the field, being replaced by 66, Dan Plucknett. 2nd down and 8. Sundberg, well covered this time. They get the pitch, but it's way in the backfield, and Southeast will lose a yard or so on it. Took it too far back for the pitch. East High played it very, very well, brought everybody up, and Topol is stopped in the backfield for a loss of about 1 yard.
When you can string out an option play that far laterally, you have a better chance of getting to it, your pursuit catching up with it on defense. That Sundberg's pitch was backward, and as you mentioned, Rick, and Lincoln East defense got over in plenty of time to string it out, get through the interference, and make the tackle.
Loss of 1, 3rd down and 9. 9:02 left to play in the quarter. And we're all tied up. The important thing to remember at this point. 3rd down and 9. Sundberg wants to pass. Has to get it away quickly. It's complete.
There's
on the near sideline to Bill Weber, as I mentioned. He'll have the first down by about 1.5 yards. Perfect positioning for Weber. Tackled on the spot, but not before he picked up the first.
Bill Weber heading towards the sideline, hauled it in. As you mentioned, they haven't thrown to him that much. He wasn't going to let that one get out of his grasp.
Perfect placement on that, because if he'd been even 1 yard further back, he would not have had the first. So 1st and 10 just inside the 30-yard line at about the 29 for the Knights of Southeast under the leadership of Craig Sundberg at quarterback. Calling the shots. Hand off into the middle of the line to Tony Riley, and Riley scoots free all the way down to the 16-yard line. Super second effort from Tony Riley, who would not be stopped. Straight through the middle of that line, picked and chose his way down to about the 16-yard line.
There you see one of the reasons why Tony Riley has been averaging 8 yards a carry on the season. 6 carries for 49 yards coming into tonight's game. So far on tonight's score sheet, he's got 7 carries for a total of 58 yards. He's gone over the 100-yard mark for the year.
1st and 10 at the 16-yard line for Southeast. This again to Riley. Jukes his way. Home free. In for the touchdown. Absolutely perfect run for Tony Riley as he just jumped through the right side of the field and had his way into the end zone. It made it look awful easy that time. Those are the kind of plays that's smart when you're on the defense, because 2 plays and Davis got him from about the 40-yard line in for the score.
As the Southeast fans get with it, Anthony Riley, Tony Riley, 5th touchdown of the year. He's got 30 points total. As you say, Rick, it looked very easy those last 2 plays. Westfall puts it up.
It's good. And so, with 8:06 left to play in the 3rd quarter, Southeast has regained the lead, 14-7. And perhaps what could be an interesting defensive injury for Lincoln East. The gentleman who came out before that touchdown play, Jeff Harrelson, limped over to the sidelines, and Harrelson had been playing very, very well for the East High defense. He may be back in, though he wasn't limping all that bad. He was replaced by another able-bodied gentleman, Jeff Cole, or Kevin Cole, rather.
Give some credit to the Southeast line. Perry, Topol, Wirtz, Hungate, and Lorberg opening up the holes for Anthony Riley, but also Riley with some good moves once he got past the initial line of scrimmage. When he got in the linebackers' territory in the secondary, they weren't going to stop him from hitting pay dirt that time.
The Southeast has scored in the early going of the second half. With 8:06 left to play, they'll boot that ball back off, and it'll be picked off or received across the way. And the return started with some good running room upfield, and finally dragged down at about the 28-yard line. Will be number 80 for Lincoln East, who's been doing a good job at receiver, Rich Teal. Little confusion getting started on the early coverage, but Teal recovered well. Got up to the 29-yard line before he was brought down. East High will start it from there. Zart is at quarterback. He'll have Cole and Gustafson in the backfield. Teal split to the right.
Close-up shot of Todd Zart. He's got his work cut out for him. Finds his team down by 7.
On the option, there's the pitch. Oh, a beautiful defensive effort across the way as Cole was just unearthed. Upended by number 80, Keith Peterson for Southeast, who read that one perfectly, shot through there and caught Cole for a loss of 2 yards.
Great play by Peterson. He didn't wait to see which way the play was going. It was a little bit of a misdirection play, but Peterson went right to where the action was going and got there. As you see it, Southeast over East right now.
2nd down. They want to pass, just throwing it up in the air. Oh, beautiful defensive play. Schottger could not get to it. And credit Mel Botts, number 22 for Southeast, with just playing it perfectly, getting a hand up there and knocking it down, Joe.
Schottger trying to outrun Botts. Couldn't get the job done. Zart laid it up for him, trying to outjump him at the end, but Botts played it perfectly. Got his hand on the ball, batted it away, and incomplete pass. Zart to Schottger.
Perhaps a little bit short in the pass, but boy, you have to admire Zart's arm. He really is just pinpoint passes.
I'm sure Southeast trying to get a little bit better rush on him in the second half. Cut down the amount of time he has to find his receivers.
3rd and 11. Zart going for it again. This one will be picked off. Picked off by Bill Weber, I believe. No, number 22 again. That's Botts. Botts brings it all the way down to the 25-yard line. Nobody really around that one.
Zart overthrew his intended receiver, and Botts was right there to catch it. 2 plays in a row. Fine plays by Botts as you see him trotting over to the sidelines, being congratulated by the Southeast night coaching staff. And all of a sudden, Southeast finds itself on the verge of going up by 2 touchdowns over the number 2 ranked Lincoln East Spartans.
1st and 10, the 24-yard line. Sundberg is at quarterback. On 1st down, they fumble the ball, and East High may have it back.
Spartans have it.
So again, we have some sloppy sloppy play, although I think you have to credit the East High defense for just stripping that ball away, Joe.
Tom Hatton came up with the ball, 160-pound senior. Good point, Rick. They went after the arm where the ball was at. It came loose. Southeast player had a chance for it, but an East High guy got on it. It was Hatton, and all of a sudden East High finds itself a little bit safer than they were moments ago.
Heady defensive play by the East High Spartans, and they get the ball back to their offense to go to work. Zart has another shot at it here.
Receiver fell down.
Defensive play again. You give the Southeast defense time to get in there, and Schaff will find him. Schaff is saying they should have had interference called downfield, or I should say Zart is claiming that.
Schottger was working against number 82 for Southeast, Rich Lowry. I believe it was 82.
East High fans are upset in front of us. I was watching the backfield and not see if there was any.
Let's make that 22. I believe it was Botts again.
Didn't see there's any contact down there, but they claim there was. Zart wants to pass again. The quick one over the middle. And two men there to scissor him to the ground right away. Teal had cut across the line into the middle. Particular play he's very fond of, very effective for them, and it only picks up about 4 yards, though. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 7.
Randy Wirtz, a linebacker, a little bit upset that time. He was in his territory that the pass went through, but he didn't even look up, and the ball was by him already.
Zart with a rifle arm when he wants to. They'll have Teal split wide to the right. Trying to draw Southeast off, and they did it. That's twice tonight. Southeast has given up 5 yards on defense by being drawn off ground. They'll call the encroachment again. That brings up only a 3rd down and 2, which changes the East High picture considerably.
Zart may be going with the stuttered count, staggering his signals, trying to draw him off. It's worked twice.
So they'll shuffle a couple of players in. Number 71, Bob Pazderka leaves, and they'll put number 40, Anthony Riley, back in to try and beef up the middle a little bit more on 3rd down and 2. 3rd and 2, Zart at the 36-yard line. Handoff into the middle, and they have the 1st down. Gustafson powers through for 1st and 10. At about the 37-yard line, 1st down. Aided by a 5-yard penalty against the Knights.
Schaff and Weber were there for the tackle, but not in time to prevent Lincoln East from picking up the 1st down. They're averaging 14 1st downs a game.
Exactly 5 minutes left to play in the 3rd quarter from Seacrest.
They're halfway there. They got 7 1st downs thus far.
4:52 now as the clock continues to run. Zart hammered as he crosses the line of scrimmage. He'll pick up about a yard or so. Not afraid to carry that ball. Zart and Sundberg both enjoy running it. Pickup of about a yard or so. They'll call it 2. Let's call it 2nd and 8. 4.5 minutes left to play in this 3rd quarter. Teal wide to the right, Schottger wide to the left. Cole and McCashlin in the backfield. Pass complete again to Teal. Teal has been open every time tonight.
Working against the linebacker that time. Worked against Schaff. Schaff came back to make the tackle, but he was working against number 53, Brent Albee, a 190-pound senior, and he's got too much speed for a linebacker. As fast as any linebacker might be. That's not a slam against Albee. He just... There you see a section of the crowd. It says parents for East High Spartans.
That's nice to see. 1st and 10, a beautiful slanting pass. Zart will be dragged down. The ball fumbled. Southeast comes up with it again.
Another turnover in between the 40 and 50-yard line, Rick.
Some more sloppy play as
Zart's on the field. Seems to be shaking up Todd Zart on the field near sideline. Now he's up.
A little shaken up on that one as the Southeast defense hammered him to the ground. The ball popped loose and turns it over. So Southeast comes up with it again in East High territory at about the 46-yard line. 1st and 10, Sundberg at quarterback. And again, both teams playing dropsy. Sundberg wants to pass, looking across the middle. Dangerous territory, but he has his man. The pass complete across the way.
Number 30, Mike Fink, a 170-pound senior, came up with it. Tackled to the ground by Jeff Harrelson.
Caught that pass in the midst of about 4 East High defenders, too. Officials timeout now as they take number 22 Harrelson back out of the game defensively, and Kevin Cole re-enters the defensive lineup for Lincoln East. 3.5 minutes left in this third quarter. The Knights have a 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. Both teams have moved very well offensively, but have just coughed the ball up repeatedly in the second and third quarters of this game. Drives have stalled like crazy tonight. So it's 1st and 10. Sundberg cuts back up midfield and will pick up only a couple of yards. Saw the going on the end would be tough, so turned it back up over the block of his center, Jack Perry.
Mike McCashlin wasn't fooled. He was right there to make the tackle. He closed on Sundberg. Sundberg tried to reverse the direction, head towards the far sideline, but was shut off, and that'll cause 2nd down and 8 to be the situation.
And remember, when you've got people like McCashlin and Cole in there playing defense, those guys are offensive halfbacks too. They know which way the runners and the offensive lines are going to be moving from experience. So a little added edge there. Pass. Sundberg's going to have to run out of it. Cannot get away. Will be tackled for no gain. Maybe even a bit of a loss. Looked like he might be able to shed some blocks and get some tackles and get outside, but could not do it. 3rd down, and they're going to move the ball back a little bit, closer to 3rd and 9.
Jeff Lade was the initial man to trip Sundberg up, a 186-pound senior. Lade got a hand on Sundberg's ankle, and while he didn't knock him down right then, he did trip him up and prevented him from going any further upfield. We'll see what Coach Chuck Mazurski comes up with. 3rd down and 9. There you see it. Sundberg up to the line of scrimmage.
That'll make Lade feel better. He was the one who missed the tackle on Sundberg's touchdown in the first quarter. What a pass. Blitz. Only dropped the ball. Couldn't get the pitch off to Riley.
They had a screen set up, but it had to develop too fast because of number 50, Jeff Lade again. He came shooting through on the right side, on the near side, and he forced Sundberg to let go of the screen pass a little bit too soon. They had it set up to Riley on the far side. Southeast going to take a timeout.
Southeast will take timeout. The defensive coordinator for Lincoln East, Lynn Young, will go out to talk to their huddle. But the offensive coaching staff for Southeast will stay on the far sidelines, talking about 5 yards onto the field with Craig Sundberg, the quarterback. As you see, both huddles right there talking things over with an even 2 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Been sort of an error-prone quarter, as was the finale of the first half, as you see the defensive huddle there. Mike McCashlin, number 44. And they're the Southeast offensive unit. Sundberg comes back in. It would appear they will not be kicking the ball.
From this point in the field, it'd be kind of ridiculous to kick the ball. You're on your 30, on the other team's 33.5-yard line. If you punt the ball, the chances are it's going to go in the end zone unless you have the punter just shank it a little, but that's kind of hard to do. If it goes in the end zone, it comes out to the 20. That's only 12-yard difference, 13-yard difference. So you might as well go for it. 9 yards to go. That might seem like a lot, but we'll find out. Sundberg's got a good arm.
We'll have Hager split here on the near sideline. Sundberg will have lots of time looking for Hager.
Billy Weber.
For Weber, rather. Weber has it, but they say he dropped the ball. Incomplete. Weber had it, was hit, dropped the ball, so it remains an incompletion in the books. It's a good thing he didn't have it a second longer and then drop it, or East High would have had themselves a recovery. Not that it would have made any difference. They take the ball over anyway.
Looked like Weber might have held on long enough for Southeast's sake. If he'd have fumbled it out of bounds, it would have been a first down if they'd have ruled it to be official. An official catch, that is, but didn't have it long enough, and East High takes over down by 7 in the third quarter.
At their own 33-yard line, Todd Zart is the quarterback. Schottger split to the right side. They're going to hand that ball off up the middle, and the Southeast defense won't let it go anywhere.
Randy Wirtz in on the tackle.
A gain of only a couple. They'll call it second down, and well, they'll call it second and 9. I thought it might have even been a 2-yard gain. A minute 36 as the clock continues to run. Teal on the near side to the right. Schottger to the left. Zart looks around. Sees some things he's not quite certain about here. Better hurry it up. Calling the signals. Long time.
Southeast dropping 7 men off the line of scrimmage.
Pass is incomplete. Pass along the near sidelines here as number 88, Gustafson, went up for it. Met by 2 of the defensive backfield for Southeast.
When Zart came up to the line of scrimmage, Rick, he looked over the defense and saw 5-man front, 4 linebackers and 2 safeties. But as he got as he started calling his signals, that is, another man dropped off the line of scrimmage, and in effect, Southeast had 7 guys protecting against the pass.
Obviously, in respect of the passing arm of Todd Zart, Schottger comes off the field for the Spartans. They'll have Teal split here to the near sideline. 3rd down and 9. Watch the arm of Zart go to work. Nope, the draw play. And they may be long enough for the first down, depending on where Cole falls. I think he'll have it.
I think where they marked it, he's going to be a little bit short.
They'll have to measure it here. If not, it'll be 4th down in just a few inches. They will certainly go for it.
His knee went down. Where the ball was past the line. It was past the first down yardage. But I think where they marked it is going to be very close. Kind of an important first down. It'll either be 4th and 1, 1st and 10. It's going to be short.
4th and 1. 4th and just inches to go, so East High will certainly go for it at this point in midfield.
Statistician says it's 5 1/4 inches short.
All right. 53 seconds left in quarter number 3. Kevin Hubble comes off, and they'll put Schottger back in. 4th and inches. Eric Knoll doing another super job on our graphics tonight.
Look for Zart on a quarterback sneak.
And on the sneak, they have the first down by a long shot. So East High retains possession and has the first down at about the 44-yard line. 47 seconds left in this 3rd quarter, and East High keeps the drive alive.
Good blocking by the center, number 54, Dan Weed, a letterman from last year, a 175-pound senior. Quarterback sneak, there's only 2-3 blocks that are really important. Those are the centers and the guards. Center and the guards, that is. They came through. East High picks up the first down.
Zart wants to pass on first down. Oh, just gets it off, and Cole will be tackled in the backfield by Kelly Peterson with an assist by number 33, John White.
Dan Goen had Zart almost to the ground. He didn't quite get his arm around the passing arm of Todd Zart, though, and Zart was able, using a heads-up play, to get rid of the ball to avert a loss on the play.
Now, he still got a loss on the play, a loss of about 8 yards, or closer to 5 or 6 yards.
3rd quarter winding down. There you see it.
Another exciting game here from Seacrest Field, and that is the end of the 3rd quarter. So at the end of 3 periods of play, our score, Lincoln Southeast 14, East High 7. We'll be back in 30 seconds for this 4th quarter. Don't go away. 4th quarter, East High with a 2nd and 15. Zart looked like almost a mix-up, but he'll turn it upfield for a gain of about 5 yards. Had to find a big hole in the middle of the line to pick up some yardage on the ground. It'll bring up a 3rd down and about 9 yards to go. 11:41 just at the start of this 3rd quarter or 4th quarter of play. Final score or period here with a score 14-7. Southeast in the favor by 7 points. 3rd down and 10. Zart drops straight back, looking across the middle, and it's picked off. Just right into the hands of number 66 for the Knights, who was injured earlier tonight. Randy Wirtz, and the starting defensive line was taken out. Dropped back that time and came through with a super play for them. As Wirtz, the starting strong side linebacker, number 66, was in the right place at the right time, picked that ball off, and ran it all the way back down to the 30-yard line.
Southeast in great territory. Sundberg, let's see if he tries to get 6 in a hurry. He's got Hager on the far side.
1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. Straight through the middle of the line. Sundberg just bowls a few folks over and picks up darn near 5 yards on the ground. He has Topol and Anthony Riley in the background.
There you see the, wait a minute. There we are.
There you see the illustrious Cablevision TV9 sports crew. Glad to be with you tonight. Thanks for joining us tonight. Gain of 6 on the quarterback keeper on 1st down. A little unusual for first, as Sundberg doesn't mind running it straight through there.
He's tying a 5-man front on defense.
The pitch back to Peterson, who loses his feet and loses about 2 yards as a result. An East High man who's down, though, on the field. We'll have to wait and see who the injured player is, as they'll face now about a 3rd and 6, maybe a 3rd and 7 coming up after the loss on the down. Peterson just found nowhere to go. The injury is to number 60 for East High. That's Rick Taylor. Taylor is the starting middle guard for the Spartans. Be a big loss for him. Of him, rather. We'll wait and see what the situation is here. It'll be a 3rd and 7 situation for Southeast. Both these teams have faced lots of 3rd and long situations tonight. I don't have the conversion statistics right with me, but I would imagine they are pretty good for both teams. There you see the score. Southeast 14, East High 7. Southeast has the ball. A 3rd and 7 from about the 27-yard line.
A little bit lower scoring game than we anticipated, Rick. Both defenses have been able to shut the other team down thanks to some turnovers in the midfield.
Several turnovers in this.
Really?
Exact.
Southeast had been averaging 43.5 points a game. Of course, you know, Chuck Mazurski didn't expect that average to stay quite that lofty after tonight's game.
Oh, no.
They've only been giving up 3 points a game, though. East High, on the other hand, has been averaging around 23 points a game and giving up 7 points a game. There you see Taylor coming to his feet, walking pretty gingerly on that left ankle.
Oh, that's a shame to see because he's played a good game all night tonight. So they'll bring Taylor off the field, favoring his left ankle.
Some statistics compiled by the statistician up here. First downs, 9 up. East and Southeast. There you see it. When
that's our statistician crew right there.
Highly skilled and intelligent personnel. Passing 9 out of 16 for 104 yards for East High. 2 interceptions for Southeast. 7 out of 11 through the air, 69 yards. East High has rushed 255 yards. Southeast has, or check that, East has 25 rushes for 57 yards. There we go. Southeast has 25 rushes for 136 yards through 3 quarters.
3rd down and 7 for the Knights. They're at their own 27-yard line. They want to pass. Looking deep. Sundberg sees a chance. There's a flag thrown. It's got to be a holding call at that point. Has to be. Sundberg would have been short of the 1st down at any rate. But with the holding call, he'll most definitely take the penalty.
Do you take the penalty? I believe they will. 15
I would think
yards,
so.
That'll move them back to about the 38-yard line.
Depends on where it's marked from.
Really?
But it'll certainly be a much more imposing distance to cover than the 7 yards would have been. So from the location of the hold would have been at about the 33-yard line. So it'll come way back out
48
at midfield. So that's a very costly penalty. The only major penalty we've had tonight in a relatively error-free game. Southeast jumps off sides a couple of times on defense. Called once for delay of game. 3rd down and 27. Kind of a tough one to make up. You know they'll have to go to the airwaves. Looking around, they have to scramble, and he'll be dropped for a big loss.
Broken play for the Southeast Knights. Sundberg had to eat the ball. It was supposed to be, it looked like almost a Statue of Liberty play set up. I don't know if it was or it wasn't, but anyway, Sundberg looked around, nobody to hand the ball off to. They didn't have any pass pattern set up, I don't believe. So it'll be 4th down and
31.
quite a ways to go. 31.
Go from 3rd and 7 to 4th and 31 in 2 plays. Boy, that's disheartening for an offense.
Back deep is Rich Teal, ready to return the punt for East High School. He's standing at his 15-yard line.
I may have to call a timeout here. Southeast is very confused as to what the situation is supposed to be here.
2nd time in the game, Southeast has had to waste a timeout. They didn't have enough players on the field. The man who made the interception, Wirtz, came on the field. Now it's set. There you see it, 4th and an acre to go.
Mazurski is questioning a little bit what the problem was there on that last play. So with 4th and 31, they're going to have to punt that ball away. It'll be Southeast, I believe, only 2nd punt of the ball game.
It's getting to be that time where Lee Zennick's pacing up and down the sidelines, as is Chuck Mazurski on the far side.
Well, Mazurski won't fit in fully to the Southeast program until he learns to bend down and eat grass the way Solich used to.
Frank has to give that up this year. He's on artificial turf.
He won't feel nearly as good if he tries it there. Frank Solich, of course, moving from Southeast to the freshman head coaching job at the University of Nebraska, making way for Chuck Mazurski to move in and take over this Southeast program. A high snap, ball almost blocked. They're going to have a roughing the kicker penalty.
Good punt, too, but it's all going for naught. Teal giving it his best, returning it. It's coming back.
Legitimate call that time as 3 defensive linemen came shooting through the line and rammed into the punter for Southeast. So we'll have a roughing the punter call against the East High Spartans.
You have to get a piece of the ball to be able to make contact with the punter. If he gets it away clean, if you don't touch the ball, you cannot make contact with the punter. The only other way is if you're blocked into him by one of the other punter's own teammates. But that wasn't the case. It was a clear case of roughing the kicker, and all of a sudden Southeast has new life.
1st and 10 for the Southeast Knights. It's an automatic first down on that call, in case you had any question. They're at the 36-yard line. So 2 costly penalties. One, the holding call against the Southeast Knights that brought it back to 4th and 31. Or 3rd and 28, rather.
We've seen the most short drives tonight, Rick. We've seen fumbles, 2-play drives, 3-play drives. There you see Charles Mazurski, 2-0 on the season. His Knights hanging tough in this game. Southeast head coach.
Yeah, the grass is getting pretty well worn out between the 25, 30-yard lines, but not much else going on past that point. Still 14-7, 8.5 minutes left to play in this game. There's the late pitch to Riley, and Riley will be dropped for about 3 or 4 yards. Defenses on both sides anticipating those option plays much better now.
East High defense strung it out. Eubanks made the tackle on the far side. Besides doing the kicking, he also plays defense for East High School. That's one good thing about high schools, Rick. You still have the system where a player can be on offense, come right back, and stay in on defense.
Scoreboard says 2nd and 12. It looks closer to 2nd and 13 from up here, but 8:02 left to play in the game. Sundberg checks lines with his right guard as he gets up to the line. Barks out the signals. Hand off to Riley. Riley will be only back to about the original line of scrimmage, plus maybe about 1.
Kind of a crossbuck play.
Bring up another 3rd and long situation for the Knights. They've had several of those, as have the East High Spartans. It'll be 3rd down and about 9.
Let's see if Sundberg goes to the man who competed in basketball, number 32, Bill Weber. He had a pass earlier that was ruled to be incomplete. Some statistics for Southeast. Riley has 10 carries for 76 yards. There's part of the Southeast crowd nervously looking on. They see a 3rd down and 9 for their team.
Both these teams feel there have been several opportunities that have just been wasted away here. Sundberg had to hurry, and he gets dropped. Terrific defensive play there for number 76. Number 76 for East High is John Irvin.
He was looking for Bill Weber. Weber was down the center of the field. Seemed to be open, but Sundberg didn't have time to get him the ball. How important that offensive line pass protection is.
So you can bet the East High defense will not be quite as tenacious on this particular punt. They don't want to give Southeast another first down. You see it, clock running at 6:40, 14-7 Southeast. We'll have to punt the ball away.
This has been, I think, the worst drive for Southeast. They've gone backwards in yardage. They started with 3rd and 7. They had 3rd and 31. Now they had 3rd and... Now they're going to have a delay of game.
So some sloppy playing here for the Southeast Knights as they'll now have a 4th and 25, although I kind of almost wonder maybe they didn't do that deliberately to get a little more shot at putting that ball down at the 1-yard line instead of putting it into the end zone.
Everyone but the punter wanted to do it. He's got 50 yards to cover. Teal back deep, ready to return the punt. There you see it, delay a game.
Any wind in this game should be behind Craig Sundberg now as he would punt this ball away.
You can bet the East defenders will be a little bit more careful rushing the punter. They're setting up a return. Return on the far side is set up. They've got the wall. Let's see if he can get to it.
He can. There he goes. All alone. Good go. Good, beautiful cut in the middle of the field. And a terrific run back on the right side, as you called it, Joe. They had that wall set up. And Teal had open field all the way down to the 37-yard line of Southeast. So a beautiful run back, and East High is right up there. They're ready to play. They want the center, matter of fact, has his helmet between the official's legs. He wants to get up and get at it. 6 minutes to play, and East High definitely has the momentum edge at this point. There's the pitch. Fumble. Who has the ball?
East High, I think, came up with it. The ball kept rolling along with the runner, and he stayed right with it. You could see that return being set up, Rick. They peeled off the line of scrimmage. They got back, and they got the first 2 men coming down the field. That's a key on a return, to get those first 2 guys that are closest to your return man. They got them down, and Teal used his speed to get to the wall.
For the 8 of the fumble, 2nd down and 3 as they send McCashlin to the middle of the line. First down for the East High Spartans, and the Spartans are moving. 1st and 10 inside the 20 at the 24-yard line.
We mentioned East High had been held to 57 yards rushing through 3 quarters. They've been averaging around 117 yards per game, so they've got some ground to make up, and they're making it up now.
1st and 10, 5.5 minutes left to play in the game. Zart turns, keeps, gets about 4 or 5 yards over the left side of the line.
Good play by Mike Schaff, among others, also getting up. Number 40, I believe. That's
Tony Riley.
There you see Lee Zenig in the East High colors, blue and white. The head coach. Now he's being covered up by some of his players.
Gain of only 2. It looked a lot further than that to me. 4 minutes, 53 seconds. The handoff, a good slant by Cole. He's got big yardage. Could be 6. It is. Touchdown East.
Good running by Cole as he scores his 3rd touchdown on the ground for him this year. And you see the enthusiasm of the East High Spartans.
Beautiful slant inside that way. Cole headed off to the outside, cut back to the inside. And now East High is going to go for 2. They're going to talk about it back here at the 27-yard line. You know they're going to go for 2. Thinking they can hold Southeast. Probably a pretty good tactic at this point, with only 4 minutes 45 seconds left. Southeast has stalled on their last 2 or 3 offensive drives.
Lee Zenig and Todd Zart planning the strategy. East High has gone for this conversion 2 times other than the kick. Lee Zenig, I think, just realized that he is allowed to go out there. So he's going out with Todd Zart. He wants to make sure everyone understands they've tried a pass conversion once this year. It was unsuccessful. They've tried a run conversion once for 2 points. It also was unsuccessful. So Eubanks is out. He won't be kicking. East High is going for it.
Randy Braulhorst out checking with the Southeast troops. Trying to get the defense lined up as East High scores quickly. Had the momentum going after that super run back effort by Teal.
Great comment by Bob Starr last week, Rick, after the game, asking him about the pass by Udofia on the halfback pass. He said, "I'm so short on the sidelines, I couldn't see what was happening." Some of these times these coaches get blocked out and they have to watch a replay on Tuesday nights to find out what happened.
Somebody has to tell them they scored.
Here we go.
They'll go for 2. East High.
They make it, they go ahead. If they don't, they stay 1 point behind.
Nope, they drew off.
All that's going to mean is they're going to cut the distance in half.
That helps a lot, though. It's not just all.
It's going to be 1.5 yards. You still got that 1.5 yards to cover, looking at it from the Southeast point. Looking at it from the East High point, they're going crazy. Anyway, they've got 1.5 yards to go. Now,
3rd time Southeast has been drawn off there on the defense. And boy, they have got to become more steady in that defensive line. It's cost them all 3 times.
Makes it a little bit easier if you're going to call a running play. Let's see if they go wide with it. Zart on maybe the misdirection play that they've been using quite a bit tonight. Let's see if Zart uses that misdirection to maybe Cole or even McCashlin. Be McCashlin on the left.
It's a pass. Intercepted. Intercepted in the end zone by number 66. That's his 2nd tonight as Wirtz picks that one off in the end zone.
Southeast Knights on the far side showing their exuberance over that pass interception.
Zart is really upset down on the near sideline about the 15-yard line, talking to Schottgers. Schottgers trying to tell him it's okay. A lot of time left in this game, and that is true.
4 interceptions, although that one goes on a point after attempt. Won't count as against Zardes. Todd Zart, fine quarterback. He's completed 55% of his passes on the year. Feeling a little bit down right now, but he's got the quality to come back. 9 out of 17 for 104 yards on the game. The important statistic, though, 4 interceptions.
Boy, anybody with a heart murmur ought to be sitting in their basement locked up tonight, because this is not the game to be watching.
3 weeks in a row, Rick, we've had it. The place Cablevision's cardiac coverage of high school football.
The kind of high school football action that you just love to come out and see.
Time for the onside kick, Rick.
You know they'll try for it. Has to go 10 yards.
Look for it on the left.
Nope, they're going to try and boot it deep. Hope they can hold Southeast. Goes to Tony Riley. He'll start upfield. Gets away from a couple of people and is up to the 30-yard line before he's run out. To the 28, they'll mark where his foot first went out. So Southeast will take it over, and it'll be very important for them for ball control at this point. Of course, from East High's standpoint, they want to go in and strip the ball loose like he did a few series ago and get a turnover.
Riley went out of bounds. That's something Southeast players are going to have to remember now in the last 4:40 to stay in bounds. Looking at it from their point of view, to keep the clock running, although it would have stopped normally on the change of possession.
Yet you know East High's defense will be charged up too. They feel the momentum going their way right now.
1-point ball game.
1st and 10 to 28. There goes the play, and nowhere. Topol stopped for no gain in the backfield.
John Irwin in on the tackle along with number 90 Doug Laird and number 55 Steve Miller.
So it'll be 2nd down and 11, a loss of 1.
Topol 9 carries, 9 yards.
That's an easy average to figure out. Work on that, will you? 2nd down and 10. They'll say no gain but no loss either. Clock running at 4 minutes 10 seconds to play in the game. Sundberg loses the ball.
East High's got it.
East High's got it. So East High recovers in maybe more ways than one as they pick that ball up. The one thing Southeast could not afford to do was to turn it over.
Steve Miller comes up with the ball. He's only 160 pounds. He's playing in heavy man's territory, a junior, but he came up with it. Boy, is he excited. Look at the East High stands directly below us.
Boy, a lot of turnovers in this game. East High's right back out to it.
3:52 to go.
Offense smarting a little bit. Here comes Cole again. He'll have about 3 or 4 yards.
Randy Wirtz in on the tackle.
So it'll be a 2nd down and 7 situation. Clock continues to run. 3.5 minutes left to play in the game.
Well, you can't beat this high school football, Rick.
You sure can. Exciting for us in the booth as it is for you at home. Not to mention the folks on the field are going nuts right now. McCashland has the 1st down.
Kept his balance after about 5 yards. He went down to one hand. He did not put the knee down. So the ref saw it, marked it where he finally went down. Good bit of running by McCashland. 19 carries for 56 yards coming into the game. Tonight he's got, as we check our stats, 9 carries for 31 yards.
3rd down and 1 for the East High Spartans. Thought they had that first. Thought they even marked it that way, but evidently not. Now they'll have it. Eats up a little more time off the clock. Now the officials will stop. Mark it 1st down at about the 18-yard line. Costly turnover for the Knights. And talking to the head basketball coach at Southeast, Wally McNaught, prior to the game, McNaught said this game just could come down to a couple of breaks.
11 first downs for Lincoln East. Hunched down on the sidelines. Lee Zenny getting advice from his cohorts.
Fumble. Who's got it? Looks like East High might. Nope, Southeast has it back. Oh, I do not believe the fumbles in this game.
Look at Lee Zenik on the sidelines. No motion, no expression.
Well, no, that's it. All they're going to say is East High's ball. Oh, Mazurski is furious across the way. East High says, hey, we got it back, and Mazurski is furious on the sidelines. So East High got out of that one lucky. 2 minutes, 38 seconds left to play. They retain possession at the 14-yard line. Southeast hopefuls got their hopes back up there momentarily, but the officials right on it said, no, East High still has it.
7 fumbles in the game.
2nd and 7. Gain of 3 on the fumble play. There's the pitch. And again, some good yardage gained on it as Weber missed the tackle.
There's Charles Mazurski, obviously upset at the turn of events, which took the ball away from his team.
3rd down and 5. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to play. Clock is ticking.
There's Mazurski saying we had the ball, but the ref saw it a different way, so let's see what happens. Only 12 yards away from the end zone, 3rd and 5.
It was funny, all the East High players and Southeast players all thought it was Southeast ball, but the official got down the bottom of the pile and said no. Here it comes. They will stop him short of the 1st down. 4th down, but East High, we're looking at a 4th. We'll have to try for, what do you think? Try for a field goal? It'd be a ways away, but it would be about a, let's see, on the 11, so it'd be a 21, about a 28-yard field goal attempt.
28 yards, right. 28-yard. Eubanks is in. He's got his tee. We're going to see a field goal attempt. Eubanks has not made a field goal this year. He hasn't attempted one.
Don't say that.
He hasn't attempted one. There we go.
Okay. That's a better way. You're going to get his confidence shaken here.
He'll come from a hold, and East High is going to take timeout.
East High is going to have to. They're mixed up here.
It's going to be out of a hold from number 10, Jeff Hendricks, a 165-pound junior. Sometimes people don't realize how important that hold is. The holder's got about less than 2 seconds to get that ball down and get the laces away from the kicker. No kicker wants to see those laces facing him, plus the right tilt on the ball. So the holder does all that in 2 seconds. He wants to make sure he gets his finger out of the way, too.
You could probably ask Dave Hum how important the holder's position is, because for about most of his pro career with the Raiders has been spent doing little but that.
Designated holder. Eubanks warming up. Oh, it's coming down to a field goal with 1:15 to go. There you see the spirit. Lee Zinnick right out there getting his charges fired up. This will be a 29-yard field goal attempt. Let's check it. It may be 28. Let's see where they put the ball down. It's going to be, I believe, a 28-yarder.
Stands come to their feet. 1:15. This could be the winning score right here. It'll be short. No good. The Southeast fans go delirious across the field, but it ain't over yet, folks. We got 1:10 left to play here. Now, East High has used up at least a couple of their timeouts here in this late going, so there's a limit as to how long they'll be able to stop the clock on Southeast.
You can't convince the Southeast fans this one isn't over with. They saw that ball going wide, and a roar went up.
Now, in that case, when the field goal is no good, the ball comes back out to where it was placed in high school ball. So they're putting it at the 20-yard line, and they were down closer than that.
Comes out to the 20.
To the 20? I thought on a miss. That's college ball, I'm thinking of where it comes back out. Check that, as a friend of mine used to say. 1:10 left to play in the game. Ball at the 20-yard line. East High only has, I believe, one timeout left. Sundberg straight up the middle, wants to hold on to it. East High will take time immediately whenever they can. They're calling for it there.
East High took a timeout just before that field goal try. So with this timeout, they probably have one.
They had to take one earlier in this half, too, when they had the injury.
Injury on the play. Let's see who that is.
Have to wait and see here.
Did East take that timeout?
Yes, they called the time. The officials called it.
If they could have waited, they could have got a free stopping of the clock due to the injury to Southeast player. There's Lee Zinnick. 62 seconds to go in the ball game.
This will be the longest 62 seconds you'll see. Oh, the injuries to Sundberg, the quarterback.
Sundberg. That could be important if he has to go out in the exchange between center and quarterback. You get a new quarterback in off the bench. Cold hands, isn't used to the center. Anything could happen, looking at it from the Southeast point of view.
Plus, their backup quarterback is Mark Sievers, who has been injured. He is not even suited up for tonight's game, so they'll be going with Doug Barlow, number 7, I believe. Barlow, of course, has been running back punts most of the night. Now we'll see exactly what was, whether or not that, I don't know if that timeout was charged to East or not. The East lineman called for it, and the officials whistled it.
It's going to be Dave Stacy at quarterback.
That's right, Dave Stacy,
165-pound junior. And the pressure falls on the shoulders of one Mr. Stacy as he works with the center.
East High defense is charged up. They'll just kind of fall on it in the middle here. And I don't believe East High has any more timeouts as the clock continues to run. But Southeast faces a 3rd and 7.
The clock can run down to around 27 seconds, 28 seconds before it'll be stopped for a delay of game if Southeast went that far. If they run a play before that time, it'd be 4th down.
And Sundberg is back in at quarterback, obviously just shaken up a little bit. Clock continues to run down to 33 seconds. Sundberg is back in at quarterback, 3rd down and 7. They don't dare pass. They need to keep this one on the ground. 3rd and 7, they'll just fall on it again, so that'll bring up a 4th down. East High cannot stop the clock. 15 seconds.
They don't have to run another play. That'll do it.
They can't run the clock out at this point as they'll line it back up. That's it. So as it comes down to a heartbreaker for the Lincoln East High Spartans, as the clock runs out and Southeast has won it by 1 point, 14-13. We'll take a break. Come back and talk about the final statistics and talk with Lincoln Southeast head coach Chuck Mazurski, all in 60 seconds. Stay with us.
Cap Hardings.
Now, as Southeast wins the ball game by 1 point, 14-13, you cannot get any closer, friends. I'll tell you that right now, and you have to give East High all the credit in the world for going for the win with that 2-point attempt conversion that was intercepted by Southeast's Randy Wirtz. And boy, I'll tell you, you talk about a knuckle biter. They don't have any fingernails left. They don't take it all up in the booth. Down on the sidelines, companion Joe Lococo is talking with Southeast head coach Chuck Mazurski. Let's go down and get their comments right now.
Okay, thank you very much. We're with winning coach Chuck Mazurski. Great game, coach.
Well, we made a lot of mistakes, but we played with a lot of heart, and we hung in there, and our defense just did a super job for us, and we came out on top.
How do you explain all the turnovers throughout the game?
Well, I think it was a combination of a real hard-hitting football game and some mental mistakes on our part. But like I say, our kids have a lot of heart, and they hung in there, and we did well enough to win.
Did you expect about this kind of game?
We expected an extremely close ball game, and a lot of times in big rivalries like this, I found that they're low-scoring games, which this one was.
What were you thinking about when they lined up for that field goal?
The same thing everybody else on our side was. I hope he misses.
What about on the possession when you guys thought you had the ball and it turned out East held onto it?
Well, you know, of course, we were upset. We thought the official signaled our way. Apparently he didn't, and I would never, ever question anything they did. If they said it was their ball, then all we can do is assume it was their ball. And our kids, that was a tough break for us, and our kids hung right in there and held them anyway.
Great game by Craig Sundberg.
I think he's one of the finest quarterbacks in the state without question.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach. You're still undefeated.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Charles Mazurski of Lincoln Southeast, 3-0 on the year as they defeat the East High Spartans tonight. And, Rick, I tell you, this cardiac coverage is going to get us one of these weeks.
It'll get those of us that are overweight, we'll put it that way. Our final score tonight, 14-13. We'll take a quick check of the final scoring and rushing statistics here. Finally, for East High, Todd Zart, 12 carries for 30 yards. Mike McCashland, 11 carries for 36 yards. Kevin Cole, number 33, 11 carries for 62 yards. A good individual effort from him. Totally for East, 34 carries on the ground, 128 yards totally. For Southeast, Zart, 10 for 47 on the ground. Greg Topol, 9 for 9, a 1-yard average. Tony Riley, 10 for 76 yards on the ground. Kelly Peterson, 3 carries for 5 yards. Totally 33 carries, 137 yards on the ground. By the airwaves, East High winds up 9 of 17 for 104 yards, 4 interceptions. Southeast, 7 of 11 for 69 yards through the air. In the first down category, East with 11, Southeast with 9. Punts, East only 1, or penalties rather, 1 for 15. Southeast 6 penalties, 36.5 yards, including several key ones there. For in the punting category, 2 for 102 yards, 51 average for East High. 2 for 64, a 32-yard average for Southeast. Totally then for the East High Spartans, 232 yards total yardage. For Southeast, 206 total yards. Turnovers, East High 6, Southeast 4. East High with a couple of crucial plays, a 2-point attempt that would not go, and a field goal that was just painfully short by a few yards. That was the difference. The final score again tonight, Lincoln Southeast 14 and Lincoln East 13. A heart stopper like you just could not want a any better game. But I'll tell you, we'll be right back here again tomorrow night with round 2 on this double game weekend. This one will be featuring the Grand Island Islanders and the Northeast Rockets tomorrow night. Our coverage will start at 7 o'clock with the kickoff slated for 7:30. Joe Lococo on the play-by-play, Rich Clausen on the color. Hope you'll join us for all of that. Until then, this is Rick Alloway for Cablevision's entire TV9 sports crew saying thanks for joining us tonight. The final score again, Lincoln Southeast 14, Lincoln East 13. Good night from Seacrest Field. This has been High School Football 79. Tonight, Lincoln Southeast and Lincoln East.